Qatar Economy IMF March 2022. IMF team visited Qatar. They met the finance minister, the central bank governor. They have issued a report which has been quite interesting and made a real assessment of the situation on the ground. The Qatari authorities, according to IMF, have responded to the pandemic very well, and it has helped them to minimize the negative impact of the pandemic and facilitate the recovery. We have seen the number of cases impacted, number of deaths, vaccination on the eligible population or the total population vaccination have been very well done. World-class healthcare infrastructure has enabled Qatar to respond to the challenge. Near-term growth will be boosted by 2022 FIFA World Cup and favorable hydrocarbon prices. The ongoing LNG expansion project is expected to support medium-term prospects as well. A gradual exit from the remaining support measures is appropriate. Gradual exit, they say this. The strength of the recovery would allow a successful exit from the blanket loan moratorium in the near future. It should be replaced by a time-bound support. It should be replaced by time-bound support measures targeting distressed but viable borrowers. So you need to give them the space, allow them to have debt servicing at their ease. Diligent banking supervision should continue to safeguard the banking sector's strength during the exit. A balanced growth, friendly fiscal consolidation strategy could help to achieve dual objectives of intergenerational equity and diversification. Authorities' strong reform efforts during the pandemic should continue to accelerate the diversification and build a knowledge-based, stronger, more inclusive and greener economy. It's a beautiful statement. Strong reform efforts during the pandemic should continue. Again, accelerate the diversification, build a knowledge-based. World is becoming a knowledge society. It's knowledge-based, stronger, more inclusive, rich or poor. Everyone is inclusive. Greener economy. Most important thing is greener economy. Now, when it comes to Qatar economy, they are also saying economic recovery is gaining strength on the back of the rebounding domestic demand, higher hydrocarbon prices, and the preparation for 2022. Real GDP growth, according to IMF, is expected to accelerate to 3.2% in 2022. Perhaps this will get reflected in the April spring meeting. North Field LNG expansion project will support growth prospects and further strengthen fiscal and external position over the medium term. North Field East and North Field South, scaling up the LNG production from 77 to 126 is something which is really added revenue for sustainable journey. The downside risk to the outlook stem from the potential new virus strains, geopolitical tensions and conflicts, tighter and more volatile global financial conditions and energy market volatility. In the long run, Qatar's focus on LNG can help to ease the energy transition process. There is ultimate risk that the global shift to renewables could reduce demand for hydrocarbon. When it comes to Qatar Banking, the Qatar banking sector remains well capitalized and liquid, with non-performing NPLs at relatively low levels. To balance the need to facilitate the recovery and ensure banking sector growth, a carefully calibrated exit from the remaining support measure is crucial. The planned reduction in the allocation of zero interest rate repo facility is welcome, while the strength of the economic recovery would allow the exit from the blanket loan moratorium in the near future. And IMF recommend replacing it with the time-bound measures targeting distressed but viable customers. People are under stress, nobody can deny this, but they are viable long term. That's the point IMF is making. And unviable firms should be resolved through an enhanced insolvency framework. You need an insolvency framework. The diligent banking supervision should also continue, including for banks to promptly recognize and address the NPLs and comply with the provisioning and capital requirements. A bank's large and increasing exposure to foreign liabilities poses a potential risk as global financial conditions tighten, while the existing prudential framework and efforts to lengthen the maturity and diversify the source of foreign funding are mitigating factors. When it comes to fiscal consolidation, amid rising hydrocarbon prices and a favorable fiscal outlook, the authorities commit to medium fiscal consolidation is particularly welcome. A balanced and growth-friendly consolidation strategy could help to achieve the dual objectives of intergenerational equity and diversification. This is a very important point. A balanced and growth-friendly consolidation strategy, fiscal consolidation, will help to achieve the dual objectives of intergenerational equity and diversification. Structured solution is diversification. The strategy would call for diversifying revenues and accelerating the implementation of the value-added tax, enhance current spending efficiency, it has to be enhanced, and reorienting the spending to promote productivity, economic diversification, and greener economy. You have to promote productivity, economic diversification, and a greener economy. Implementation of the strategy could be underpinned by a well-designed medium-term fiscal framework and enhanced fiscal transparency and governance. You need to frame it up on the fiscal transparency and governance. When it comes to climate change, very important point. The recently launched National Environment and Climate Change Strategy could envisage a 25% reduction of the trend greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. That's a welcome move. Qatar's per capita carbon emission is high because the denominator per capita is very low in terms of the overall population, right? So when it comes to oil or gas producing country, the denominator matters as well. So how do you contribute? They are committed now a 25% reduction of trend greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. Strong reform memorandum should continue to improve productivity and inclusiveness, further enhances the business environment and attract private investments. You need more and more inflows and embrace new global trends such as digitization and green growth for a more diversified, stronger growth in the long term, as well as to address climate change. So that's the big picture of IMF is concerned. A greener economy focus is vital, and it is also vital that we understand the carbon emission reduction has been agreed by 2030, 25%. And we have, when it comes to banking side, it is stronger. NPLs are low relatively, and gradual exit should happen. NPL should be managed. Distress assets, as long as they are viable, you should allow them to. IMF is making it very clear. So again, you should allow them to debt service with a revised approach. Foreign liabilities poses a threat to the potential risk, so you have to bring it down as global financial conditions tightens, while the existing prudential framework and efforts to lengthen the maturity and diversify the success of the foreign funding into the overall framework. So that is a big picture. 3.2% is not bad. That's the overall measurement, assessment of IMF, which we can see in real term in their own report in the spring meeting in April 2022.